Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, news, sports, social media, music, everything really, depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from a show on CBS, a sitcom called Mom. She plays Wendy. We are with Beth Hall. Beth, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. So nice to see you.
So nice to see you. 8 seasons. Isn't that crazy? Like 8 seasons of a show. Like, congrats to you and the cast and crew of that. That's an amazing accomplishment.
It is. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot these days. Shows don't get those kind of longevity, but we're keep on trucking.
We're gonna get into it, and we're gonna get into your other work, but I kind of want to know when it kind of all started for you, because you are whether people act, write, direct, perform, you're storytellers. So when did Beth Hall decide that she wanted to be a storyteller?
Oh, that's a really good question. Even as a kid, I was a writer. I wrote poetry and I like to write a lot of things. So yeah, I never really thought about that, but I always wanted to be an actor. When I was like 4 or 5, I wanted to have like diamond dresses and the glitz and glamour of acting, which, you know, as you grow up and struggle in the career, you realize it's not all about that.
Absolutely. And for people that watch Mom on CBS, for people that have followed it from the beginning, because there's a lot of people that are watching this show, like a lot of TV shows, evolves. The storylines change, certain new characters came in, new focuses on characters and storylines came in. Talk a little bit about, like, from your perspective, someone working on that show, about the show in general, the growth of the storyline of the show, and specifically with your character, Wendy, as well.
Okay, well, I guess it started out, it was Christy and her 2 kids, and then her mom shows up, and hilarity ensued. But as they started to focus more on the group of women in the AA meetings, and it started to evolve into be more about the women, less about the family, and so it sort of grew into this great friendship of women, especially women over a certain age, and dealing with the addiction and being sober and everything that goes along with that, and how they support each other. And so it's even evolved even more now that Anna Faris has left, and it's really about the women.
And it deals with a lot of very serious issues, and it is a sitcom, it is a situation comedy, and it deals with a lot of issues and important issues, and one could make an argument that it is one of the most important sitcoms on television, one could say, because of all the issues it tackles. When you kind of read the scripts, whether it's, certain scenes with your character, or specifically kind of what goes through your mind about how they're able to kind of balance the humor, but also kind of a lot of the, dark, important subject matter, Beth?
I'm always amazed at how the writers can walk the line between the humor and the drama, because it is a very serious subject. But some of our writers have experienced being sober, and they know that you have to approach it with humor, or else you can't get through life. So they deal with it in a very serious and respectful way, but also show that you can laugh at yourself no matter what you're going through. But
a lot of people need, like, shows like Mom provide an escape for a lot of people that are going through things all the time in their lives. Have you ever thought about that? Like, you're an actor on a TV show that will allow people to kind of escape a little bit from all the stuff going on?
Yeah, well, it's amazing. I mean, not only because it's a funny show and people need to laugh right now, but also so many people have come up to the whole cast and people who are going through being sober and saying how this is, especially during COVID, this is now their new AA meeting, and that it's really helping them, and it's helped their mother. I had a woman come up to me and said, I watched this show with my mom, and it can help me convince her to go into rehab or to go to AA meetings. And so to be in a sitcom and be a comedian and make people laugh, you always know that's sort of therapeutic. But then to be on a show that actually really has helped people. It's pretty rewarding.
For sure. No, and it's definitely really, I think the show really, man, and this is, I think, credit to the writing. I think it really makes an effort to kind of highlight the importance of you know, dealing with all this and having kind of a support system, because you know, the ladies in that, like in the AA meeting, you know, you could tell there's some moments like they are there for each other, like a friendship was created, you know what I mean? So I think it makes a big effort, right?
Yeah, and just like the first episode of this season where we had a slumber party, and you know, just all trying to help Tammy get through the night because she was going through, it was her birthday, and her father, who killed her mother, was going to call her. I mean, serious stuff like that. Yeah. And so, but again, dealing with it with humor, but also showing the serious side, and that it is a serious issue.
It's just like, it's kind of like what you said in the beginning of the interview, Beth, about draw the line between both of them. Like it does amaze me, because I've watched it and like the subject matter is very serious. You know what I mean? I mean, there's like cellmates. You know what I mean? There are people that were like,
I think they touched upon a lot of the different, very serious topics and done it really well. So it is really all about the writing.
Absolutely. For people that have followed your career, you have been on other amazing shows. One other show you have been on is a drama, Mad Men. You were on Mad Men. For you specifically, I mean, I guess there's certain things I'm sure you like about like all the genres you got to work on, but like, do you have one that like you prefer or you enjoy more, or they kind of like, is that kind of like picking your favorite? Is that like picking your favorite kid? Like you can't do it. Like you like the drama, you like the comedy. Like what is that? How does that work? Like, do you prefer one over the other, or?
I do love it all, but I was probably more of a comic escape from on Mad Men also, because that is what I mostly do, but I do love doing drama as well. Mm-hmm. But my favorite genre is definitely what I'm doing now, which is a multicam sitcoms. Unfortunately, this year we don't have a live audience, but usually we would have, you know, we would rehearse and shoot a little bit of it and then do the rest in front of a live audience. So you really get the experience of getting immediate feedback on what's working, what's funny, and just the excitement of being in front of a live audience. You know, coming from theater, which I have, I really love getting the best of both worlds, the television and the theater. But so hopefully we get back to that.
Yeah, but I believe, like you mentioned the theater, I mean, I feel like that's kind of like where you learn your craft, right? Like that's kind of where it all starts.
Yeah, for me it did. Yeah, not for everyone, but I started out doing theater in New York, and I really loved it.
I feel like, I definitely feel like when I ask that kind of storytelling question, that's kind of like a key question I always ask as an icebreaker. I always get, I did theater when I was in high school. I always get the theater. Like theater seems to be like kind of the stepping stone, so to speak. You mentioned, not being able to have a live audience, and we all know that COVID was a game changer and affected the industry in terms of the production and everything. But the one thing that happened during the COVID era is the amount of content that was consumed. One can make an argument like content like that, the amount of content that was consumed like was never heard of before. Like so many people watch shows.
And that's when you do really realize how you are helping people, because people are stuck at home. The only thing they can do is watch television, movies, of course, read books too. But a lot of people found our show over this quarantine period because they were looking for things, and they said, I can't believe I'm late to the party here, but I love the show. So,
but I feel like shows like Mom are just kind of like, there's obviously television syndication, they play repeats and everything, but you can also watch it on demand and on streaming services. And I feel like shows like that are kind of like the perfect shows to binge, because it's like, it's not too long. They're not an hour episodes, and there's a lot going on, and it's just fun. It's just easy. I feel like it's an easy show to binge. Do you agree?
It is. And some people have said, once they started, they couldn't stop.
I know. Absolutely. I wanted to talk a little bit about your character, Wendy. Wendy's a nurse.
Wendy is a nurse.
Wendy also gets teased quite a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
With your character, are you kind of noticing the? Because first, I do want to tell my viewers. I mean, you are now a series regular on the show.
I've been a series regular since Season 3. I started in season 2.
Yeah. So, but my point is, what I find interesting too is the involvement of your character and the other characters, because there is like, whether it's, like the kids or the ladies, there's always a growth of characters. Can you talk a little bit about your growth of the character, like from few seasons, maybe like from season 5 to 8? Because character goes through a lot, but I feel like your character grows a little bit too.
Yeah, I think she's finding her voice. Yep. She started out as Weeping Wendy, so crying all the time, and everything made her cry, and kind of shown to be a little bit of on the weak side. But a lot of times she does find her voice and sticks up for herself. And as the seasons have gone on, we see it more and more. And especially it shows when she's working as a nurse. She's very strong in her job. She's not quite as strong socially. But as far as her work, she's very strong and confident.
So what's that like, do you think? Obviously, the writers, have this character of Wendy, who is a nurse, Weeping Wendy, you know what I mean? And, there are storylines, right? And there's dialogue scenes where you guys are talking and everything. And, do you think it's just kind of like a natural for them, or sometimes they could be like, oh, maybe Wendy's gonna act a bit differently than she would maybe in season 6 rather than season 8. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be natural, sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know what their thought process is, but I think it does just evolve naturally as the characters relate to each other, and also as the actors envelop the character. I think the writers see different things in the characters through the actors.
Absolutely. We talked about TV shows specifically. Movies, obviously, I find are very interesting right now too, because a lot of movies, a lot of streaming platforms are creating these amazing movies that are blockbuster movies and everything. From someone who's been in the industry working on some amazing TV shows, and what do you kind of also think, kind of moving to the movies? What do you think about the kind of evolvement of the movie industry with the streaming services lately, Beth?
I think it's wonderful that there's just so much content and so much availability of work for actors.
Yep.
But I also kind of agree that the excitement of going to the theater and seeing a movie, I hope we don't lose out on that in the long run.
Well, I was talking to my friend about this. I mean, there's nothing better than, a Friday night or a Saturday night. You go to dinner with your friends, and then you go to the movie theater, you get your popcorn, your big drink, your
junior mints.
Yeah, you don't have to dress up. I go with my hoodie and my sweatpants. You're just cozy. I miss it. And there's something about it. I miss it totally.
Yeah, there's something about sitting in the dark with other people, strangers or whoever, and experiencing something together. So I don't think movie theaters will ever go away. But it is sort of evolving.
I think the coolest thing too about, because I remember going to the premieres, the day a movie came out, they came out Fridays, going to a premiere of a movie and it being packed, right? And the experience of watching it in a live, with everyone else, a packed theater, I feel will make you feel differently from if you were watching it with maybe 5 or 6 people in the theater, because you're kind of feeding off all the reactions that people are getting as well.
Absolutely, and you may not react the same way as other people, and so it's definitely a different experience. But there's something wonderful about it, just like being at a Broadway show with a huge audience and experiencing that together. It's magical. It
is absolutely magical, and it's amazing because storytellers like yourself are really providing an escape for people at a time right now that people really need an escape. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for providing us with escape, Beth.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate chatting with you.
Oh, I had a great time. Thank you.
So obviously, season 8 of Mom on CBS. It's a go.
Thursdays at 9.
Thursdays at 9. So it's easy, right? Isn't that just easy? CBS Thursdays at 9.
Easy to do.
And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
I'm at The Real Beth Hall on Instagram and Beth Hall on Twitter.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And people are enjoying Mom, and we got to make sure that people keep watching season 8. Let's go. Thursday. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you can catch Beth Hall as Wendy in Mom, which is on Thursdays at 9 on CBS. And until next time, this is Beth Hall and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.